Hey, what's up? Seventyne here, taking a look at the action RPG Kin, the first full 3D title developed by Tangrin Entertainment, a two-man development team. Kin has you playing as two Magni warriors that have just recently acquired their powers after a lengthy ritual underground. The Viking world as they once knew it has changed, with once peaceful creatures turning hostile against humans due to an unknown power. Controlling individual characters will give you access to their two abilities and their one ultimate. These aren't tied to the characters and can be swapped with any other ability in the game, with three distinct categories in mind, body and control. With these three categories, the game allows for 4 different playstyles for each of your characters. They can be an archer, a mage, a soldier with a sword and board, or finally a berserker with a two-handed axe. There is one more outlier in the form of an assassin wielding a dagger, but during my time with the game I didn't really find it all that viable or necessary. The ultimate abilities you have access to can do a couple of different things depending on which rare stone you pair it with, and you'll have to pair a stone with it to be able to use it. Your ultimate will charge differently depending on this stone equipped. For instance, a life stone requires you heal units to gain charges, or for the death stone you'll have to kill units to gain charges. The combat in the game requires a lot of multitasking between your unit's position, abilities and target, and you get thrown into it while still completing what could be considered the tutorial area. You can take individual control of each character, and you'll have to be able to use their abilities and move them into the appropriate positions. For instance, moving your archer away from all the enemies trying to kill you so that your tank can actually tank. Moving your characters as a group adds some features that are a little confusing at first, but is actually a great way to organize your squad's formation. Your squad will keep its spacing between each of the characters when moving the squad as a whole. You can also choose which direction your squad formation is facing by just holding right click and dragging so that the arrows are facing where you want them to. This is especially useful for when you come across an unexpected encounter, as you will already be prepared for combat and not have to spend the first few seconds getting your tank up to the front line. If things do get a little bit too crazy, you can enable slow motion mode to give you some more time to think and maneuver through the situation. While it's not really needed for the normal difficulty mode, if you're playing on any of the higher difficulties, this mode will become essential. One of the more impressive features of the game shows up during the combat as well, with creatures you're attacking actually being crippled by damage. The first stage of damage will have your enemies slowed, then they will drop to the ground and start crawling around before you can finally land the finishing blow. Something you don't really see in many games, and adds a nice little touch of immersion and tactical play of crippling enemies so that they are easier to deal with. Outside of combat, each of your main characters have item slots for their armor and weapons. These items can be dropped from killing enemies, purchased from stores, and also found from chests that are scattered around the world, sometimes in plain sight, other times hidden in secret areas of the map. These items use the standard colored rarity system, with white being common and purple being rare. The higher the rarity, the more additional effects the item will have, rather than just plain base stat increases. Comparing the items currently equipped and in your inventory is as easy as mousing over the item. A small stat box for each character will pop up and tell you the stat upgrades and downgrades. You have to take note of the bonus stats though, as a 10 damage axe can still be better than a 15 damage axe because it has +5 fire damage and +5 poison damage, or something along those lines. Other features of the game include some interesting puzzles to solve, breaking up the gameplay here and there. The puzzles aren't too hard, at least at the beginning of the game, and have so far been based around pressure plates activating certain map elements. You can also craft your own weapons and armor from resources gathered while completing missions out in the world, as well as buying and selling these items at your hometown shop. Kin's music is also something else to take note of, as it's fantastic and really adds that kind of almost Lord of the Rings feel to the game, especially when paired with the beautiful environments. Altogether, Kin sends you on an epic journey across the world, going from luscious green meadows to snowy mountains to large cities under siege, all in the search of answers for the sudden aggression from an unknown antagonist. While Kin does a lot of things right, there are some elements of the game that lack that final bit of polish. For instance, your character's inventory screen is fairly basic visually, and there are some difficulties clicking on friendly and hostile units while moving. The base of the game is great, it's just the little things that could have done with a little bit more. If you enjoy action RPGs and like a good mystery story-wise, Kin is definitely worth a look. Anyway, that's been my player preview for Kin. The game officially released on the 28th of July and is available on numerous online stores including Steam. If you want to find out more about the game, check out the links below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.